Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Irashaimase,
and Colin Sparling.
Minasan konbanwa.
And today, guys, we're talking about the third episode of part 6 of Opening New Doors. It's still kind of hitting me that this is the last part, guys. We're like counting down the last few episodes.
Every week is just that much closer to the end, and I don't want to think about it, but thanks for bringing it up.
I don't want to leave Kurizawa. It's
Now
one of
I'm
my
depressed.
second home.
Yeah, and we've been watching this for like the better part of a year now, maybe approaching close to over a year by the time it's all said and done, so it definitely does feel like a second home to me.
You know,
Third place.
The crazy thing is when I sit down and like think about back to the beginning of Opening New Doors, it feels like a completely different show compared to now. And it just goes to show how much the people really make the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could say that about every season. Like, Aloha State is definitely different in its last 8 episodes versus its first 8.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, totally. Completely different. It's just a completely different vibe. And it's just amazing how much only one member swap can just change the overall vibe of the whole show.
Yeah, it really
And
is. It's like throwing like, one drop of food coloring into the pool kind of thing.
And with that in mind, let's talk about today's episode, Booger Boy and Snoring Boy.
Man,
Very
I saw the title. I was like, holy shit.
not only were there boogers, apparently they were stanky boogers.
Stanky Boogers.
And we'll talk
Stank-ass
about that
boogers.
later.
I have a question for you guys when we get to that part.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Because
All right.
I'm going to hold
this
you to
is
that.
not within my range of knowledge.
Oh.
Do you not
About
have
boogers?
boogers?
Yeah, what? You
Yes,
don't know about
girls-
boogers, Daly?
no.
Come on now.
Girls
I know
have
girls don't
boogers. Right. Of course, girls don't poop. But
True. We all know that.
like, is that a thing? Do people just like, especially the loogie thing is what really got me. Like, do people just hawk loogies? Because
So-
I've seen men like spitting on the street, and it's the worst thing in the world to me.
I mean, I've seen all people do the spitting. It's not preferable. But I've been guilty of having a bad taste in my mouth and like spitting on like the ground. I've done it.
Swallow it like a man.
I'm not proud of it. Yikes. I'm not proud of it, but it has happened. I've caught myself. And for some reason, whenever I like go to the bathroom too, I have to spit too. Like it's just like I don't know. It's like a weird habit thing.
Well, let's get the lead up to that and we'll have that discussion.
Okay, sure.
Okay, let's go with stanky boogers.
Yeah, we're teasing you with some stanky boogers and phlegm, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You'll hear all about it.
I know we were totally ignoring the snoring right now. We'll get there though.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. The snoring's like the first thing. So we open this episode with, of course, our lovely panelists. And Baba says that Masao might be the most Masao-y of all the Masaos. And I don't know what that means, but I love it.
It must be. I can't really equate like Masao to like a certain English name, but I feel like it's like the same statement as Steve's. He's just such a Steve.
It's a real
He's like
fucking Steve.
kind of like what we think of when we think of Chad or a Brad.
See, I like to think more endearing, right? Like I think of a Walter, like Walter the Walrus, kind of a guy.
He's a Walter.
Like, a Walter's got like a big bushy mustache. He's a little burly guy, kind of dad bod kind. And I trust those guys. I don't know what it is.
Trust Walters.
I trust Walters.
No, and for the record, I wasn't equating. I definitely don't think Masao said Brad or a Chad.
He's a Chad.
He's like the furthest thing.
Pull out his Supreme shirt. Yeah, I mean, he has every right to be. I mean, he's a bass player in like a famous band. But he's not. To his credit.
No, I was just
Yeah, and Yama talks about how Yui's starting to throw some punches. The first thing she says to Risako is, "Did Ayo turn you down?"
Ooh.
And Yama is like, this is her catchphrase. This is her "I'll be back." And it's, I'm so happy I live in a world where I've heard Yama say "I'll be back."
Yeah,
So
where
you'll be
Soda,
Mozart?
Yep.
where Soda, eats up when people go, huh? Like I feel like Yui soaks up other people's anguish. She kind of feeds off it like virgin
Caused
blood.
by her.
Yes. So that was a good part though. I don't know. I was like, oh, Yui's coming back. She's back, boys.
But we transfer to the house, and probably what is the best visual gag in the history of Terrace House. You know, it takes like a minute to set up, but you get this shot of the two girls asleep in their room, and then it pans up to Maya's bed. Huh, where is she? That's weird. And then it cuts to her in the playroom sleeping. And then it cuts to Ayo and Kaito sleeping in the living room, and it's like, man, that's kind of weird. Like half the house is sleeping downstairs. I wonder what that's
Dude,
about.
It was scary. It was like a horror movie kind of thing. I was like, is something like about to blow up?
Yeah.
Like, and then I was right.
5:30 a.m.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that like horror movie cut on YouTube of Terrace House. I feel like these clips would totally be added onto it. But
Totally.
then they drop the bomb, and we cut to Masao, and he's just snoring up a fucking storm.
Oh man, it's so painful. It was so painful for me, guys, because like overshare here. Like I have a little bit of a snoring problem, and I'm well aware of it, and I feel so bad about it. And the whole sequence was really painful for me because I've also been on the receiving end of a loud snore before, where I was on a road trip with some buddies and we stopped at this shitty motel in like fucking the ghetto of St. Louis, driving to California from the Midwest. And I had to sleep in the bottom, curled up in a ball of a stand-up shower with a pillow and a blanket because the snoring was too bad in like the main room.
Oh my God.
And that was my life. And then I had to get back in the back of a fucking Ford Mustang with my luggage for another 20-hour trip. But yeah.
Brutal.
Man, I know that feel. Like I've definitely had like
Do you?
times where I've had to sleep with people in the past, and it's like their snore is fucking. Can you not? Like I get you can't not, but can you not?
Did you guys ever hear me snore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a thing? Was it a thing? Was it like too loud?
Whoa.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to be disturbing, but like it was one of those things where like I walked out of my room and I was like, "Damn, he's a snoring boy."
But you couldn't hear it like through the wall.
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Cool.
But I also grew up with a dad who was blessed with a very loud snore.
Blessed.
Yeah. It was to the point where like if you were on a day where you would get up before my dad, he gets up really early. So it wasn't oftentimes that I was like awake while he was asleep. But I would be downstairs and you could hear it all throughout the house. Just like
Yeah.
tears through the walls. Yeah.
Shout
Real
out to
talk-
Colin's dad.
What up, Colin's dad?
love
But
Dad.
real talk though, like sleep apnea is a motherfucker. Like it's a serious thing. Like when you
Yeah,
stop breathing at night,
I
like
had to
hundreds of
get-
times.
I had to get my tonsils out when I was a kid because I would just, stop breathing.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Ooh.
You would get
That's
your tonsils out because they were
scary.
so big that they stopped you from breathing.
Yeah.
That's freaky. Wow. I got my
Yeah.
tonsils out
I
too because I kept getting
I
sick.
still snore, apparently. I've inherited that from my dad as well.
Oh wow.
So our boy Masao, he's one snoring,
snoring boy.
He's disturbing a lot of the household.
It was super funny though. The cut was it made me laugh a lot, but I also felt bad too because I know his pain and I relate to him.
Yeah, it's my favorite gag though so far. And then we cut to the kitchen the next morning. It's pretty early in the morning, and Kaito and Ayo are just fucking drowsy and tired.
Oh my gosh, they did not
just-
get any sleep.
They look at each other like they've shared an experience only they could have shared.
Yes.
And Yui's like, "Did you guys sleep okay?"
And they both look at each other and they just giggle. They're like, Masao? Well,
And then Masao enters, and he's like, "Guys, I slept wonderfully last
Yeah,
night."
he just says like, man, I got great sleep. Oh man, it was painful.
yeah, he was like, how did you sleep? He's like, I slept wonderfully.
I'm sure he thought that they were concerned, he's sleeping in a new place, and
Oh.
instead it was like, dude, you
Yep.
snore so bad.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say, as someone who does again have problems with snoring, he feels so bad. I feel so bad if I ever think that I must disturb even 1 minute of someone's sleep. It's a really guilty feeling because you don't even know it's happening. You know what I mean? And you're sleeping sound, you would never know. But it's a really guilty feeling. So I was really feeling bad and awkward, just like Masao was during the scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say he feels awful. You can tell on his face. He's just horrified at what he's just done on his first night in the house.
Oh yeah.
And he vows to find a solution to this because he says, and I quote, "I'll never be able to find a girlfriend like this."
Kind of true. Kind of true.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, he's quick to do something about it, man. We see that a little bit later.
So also, when he came back with the remedy, with like the remedies, right? Like, I was inspired and I went on Amazon. And I bought a mouth guard too. I was like, oh, you can just buy these on Amazon? I thought you had to like go to the doctor and like get all fitted
Dr.
and stuff.
Snore.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you can just go and buy these? I was like, I'm going to buy one now. And I bought like a really expensive one with like really good reviews.
Nice.
So we'll see. I'll report back later.
Yeah, let us know if you still snore.
I'll let you know, yeah.
Yeah.
My wife will let you know.
One other thing about that scene though, in the morning, like no wonder people are like, Yui's the mom of the house. Everyone's in love with Yui for being such a mom. Like she made everyone breakfast, was like, don't worry about the dishes. You can't be late. Like she sounded like such a wonderful mom just then. Like I want Yui to take care of me really bad.
Yeah. Domestic as a motherfucker.
It's like her entire presence is a warm hug around you.
Can I share an unpopular opinion? And I know this is going to be unpopular, but I just need to get this off my chest. I just have to get this off my chest. It's not about Terrace House though. It's about Japan and Japanese culture. And I'm sorry. I am sorry to say this, but I have to say this. I think Japanese breakfasts suck. Like miso soup and rice and fish. I've just never been into it. I'm such an American traditional breakfast, you know, pancakes, eggs, bacon, cheese, toast, sausage links kind of, and milk and orange juice kind of guy. And I just don't see anything appealing about the Japanese breakfast for my palate. And I'll just leave that there and I'll just back away slowly.
You know what?
Unpopular opinion.
Jack, I'll level with you. Like all the stuff that they ate, I am a fan. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that they ate in that scene, I would 100% eat. I love miso soup.
Me
I love
too.
Fish, rice, all that stuff.
Me too.
But like you, I am very much grounded in the idea of the American breakfast. No matter what time in the day I wake up, it's fucking breakfast time.
Yeah.
And I need my bagels, my waffles, my sausage, my eggs, my bacon, my ham, whatever.
All at once?
Yes. Are you kidding me?
Just in a blender?
Yes. Smoothie that shit up. Just fucking give it to me. Let me beer bong that shit.
If I'm in a pinch, maybe I'll do like leftover pizza or something like.
Sure, cold pizza. That's valid. Cold pizza.
Yeah, it's all five food groups in one.
I just cannot get excited about Japanese breakfast. I just cannot. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean,
it's
I could
fish for
do
breakfast.
it, but I wouldn't be as happy. I don't think.
I would do the same. I would do it, but I was just like, okay, can we go to IHOP now?
Here's just, I guess, an international thing, right? And I guess this actually is very well illustrated by what you just said, Jack. IHOP doesn't really exist outside America.
See.
And like probably Canada, I would guess. Like America is the only place I can think of where there are legitimate restaurant chains surrounding the concept of a meal you're supposed to eat at 8 a.m.
Yes.
And some go even further and are like, or for dinner. Just do breakfast for dinner. Why not? Like that's a very American concept because breakfast is such a grounded like American cuisine in a way where, you know, it's like, yeah, bacon, eggs, ham.
Yes. I was just like Colin said, it looks so good. I love it. I like that food. It's just the breakfast, the time of day to have the fish and the rice and the soup is all I have umbrage with, but not even that much. That's all.
Well, at the same time, though, I have had like a Cuban breakfast and that was like rice, beans, chorizo, avocado, and that was great.
Oh yeah.
So,
do you guys want to get back to the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done derailing it with American breakfast.
Yeah.
we just feel very strongly about breakfast. Don't get me started on cereal. You
Don't you start with this wee shit.
I thought it was fine. I would eat that in the morning. I have miso. I make my little instant miso packs when I can.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like warm drink.
All right. Yeah. Good.
So
all right, we are a house divided.
So we cut to Genryu Suriba in Kita Karuizawa. Wow, I'm just like tonguing down real bad. And I'm just kind of using that everywhere now. And we're with Ayo and Yui, and they're going on their cute little fishing date. And I'm gonna be honest, they're basically at a crick.
It's a crick.
I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? That was a cool date. I'm just saying.
I need to ask, legitimately, how does everyone say the word C-R-E-E-K?
Creek.
Crick.
You're joking.
But when you're playing in it, it's the crick.
It's a crick. Yep.
When
you
you're
guys all say
catching
crick?
crawdads.
No,
in the creek.
I say creek, but after living in Ohio for 5 years, apparently it's crick if you're from the Midwest.
Here's the thing, guys. After I was scarred by Stephen King's Stand By Me movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but there's a scene where they go in the crick, as y'all say, and then he pulls a leech out of his underwear, and there's blood. And ever since then, I've been scarred, and I will not go into a creek. I've never gone into just like a wild creek.
Yeah,
before.
there's leeches in there.
Yeah, I'm scared
I guess
of that.
here's the best way to illustrate it, Jack. When you're describing that story, my friends and I are going to play in the creek. But then when you describe the aftermath of the story, you're like, my friend got a leech in the creek. Because it's a serious story now. You can't
And his
have fun
crack
with it.
in the creek.
There you go.
Okay.
But yeah, so we cut to this fishing date, and it all seems pretty fun. Like, Io's laughing a lot. I don't think I've ever heard him laugh as much as on that date.
Yui's like a kid. Like when she caught the fish and held up, like, I got it.
Yeah.
Like that was like, I literally could see like side by side, like a 5-year-old doing that. Like it was so cute how excited she was the entire time. I fell in love with Yui a little bit. Like
I did too.
Like super excited side of her.
Yeah.
I did too. I love the bubbliness of it. I love the joy that each fish brought her. And I think she was like catching way more than him at some point, it seemed like, when you looked at the bucket side by side.
There's a lot of screaming.
Yeah. She got like scared, but in a playful way. It's really cute.
Like she's like running away from it, but it's on the end of the stick, so it's following her.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It was adorable, but I was kind of waiting for her to accidentally hook Io.
Rip.
Oh, I would hope. Yeah, that would have been. Then it's a rom-com, right? But I love that date. I had a really good feeling about them as a potential couple.
Same, but then that feeling just goes to die because we cut back to the house and they come home and Yui and Risako are like, cool, let's grill this fish in the backyard, and they're both outside. It's dark.
Oh. And then Risako says to Io, will you fry the chicken? Or something like that. It's like, will you make the fried chicken? I was like, oh.
So there's a translation problem here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So she says karaage, and karaage is usually in reference to like Japanese fried chicken. But now I'm wondering if it also is just like how you say like
Fried meat.
a fried thing.
Yeah, because he did the fish.
Because he did the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't catch that. But they're in the backyard. Yui and Risako are talking, and Yui's like, yeah, I don't like Io. I don't see him romantically. You know why?
not?
Because he picks his nose.
Dude. Don't
And he hawks loogies.
don't do either of those, especially on a date where you're eating food. So have you guys seen him do it like on camera a lot?
I swear, okay, no, watching back on the recap at the beginning of this episode, when Io asked out Yui in the middle of the night in the girl's bedroom, like, I swear I saw his finger go up, and I was like, dude, stop. Like,
He touches his face a lot, and I never really have been like, this man's picking his nose, but I also see his hand up in that region a lot, just generally.
Like,
I don't know if it's a
I feel
nervous
like-
thing or what.
I feel like we catch the tail end of the picking several times.
Dude, if the girls are talking about it, it's a problem. Like, if it happens that
people
many
notice,
times. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, what if it's one of those things the editors edited around him so that way we, the viewers, wouldn't see it until this sudden revelation? I could see that happening.
Oh, that's
Because
just
you don't want to.
that's a bad problem to have, guys. And what is he, like 23, 22, 23? I can't remember.
23.
Right.
I mean, he's a little old for this. I mean, does he have a booger wall like in the bedroom, like where he just?
Gross.
No.
I'm just imagining. Hey, that's a thing. That's a thing for people that pick their nose. They got to put it somewhere.
Well, here's the thing too, right? Risako does say in the morning sometimes he picks his nose and tries to put the booger on you, and I'm like,
Dude.
excuse me? Is this
Dude.
kindergarten?
It's really embarrassing that this is coming out too. I'm like,
National
Dale, you can't
TV.
hear it. She's about to die right now. She's about to gag.
Listen,
so nasty.
It's really
I
bad.
have that thing, like, you know, I'll be working or whatever, and
Here we go,
someti-
guys. The confession.
No, well, yeah, sorta. So, like, you know, I have like that moment every once in a while where, like, I feel like I swear to God something's in my nose, and like, so I excuse myself, you know, grab a tissue, whatever, and try to do something about it. Then hop back on the, like, wash my hands, and then go about my day. But like,
And then?
I'm not gonna sit there and like do that in front of people, or at least try to avoid as much as possible. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
That's the normal thing to do. That's what normal.
There's
etiquette.
definitely like nose maintenance is a thing, but no one should know about it. That should be between you and God.
And your nose.
Maybe he has like nose hairs and they're bugging him. Nose hairs are a thing for dudes.
Yeah, a lot of the time that's usually what it is, at least for me personally.
But then just get an electric thing, just shaves off your nose hairs.
I'm sure he's taking care of it now that he's seen this episode. Hopefully, you would hope. But that's not all he does too. Like the loogie thing is an issue, right? Like it's just a combination. And then he doesn't seem to recognize it's a problem because, as we find out later, he just talks about it openly.
Yeah, Daly, didn't you have a question about loogies? Is this the right time?
Yeah, so is that a thing? Like, do guys just
loogie?
Chewy? Like hawk loogies? Because like I understand I've had times when I've been sick and like very congested and like blow my nose, go to the bathroom, maybe try to like rinse out my mouth, but not like
Hawk-a-loog?
Hawk-a-loogie.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a guy thing, but I would say that like there are definitely like a lot of guys I know personally that don't see it as being like something to not do, right? Like they wouldn't have any problem just like, oh shit, something's in my mouth, like right on the ground or right on the sidewalk or right in the grass. No one cares. Like baseball, and like chewing tobacco and stuff. It kind of has this culture where it's kind of masculine in a weird way to spit in public.
Yeah, I'm going to have to confess on this one. I'm guilty. I am definitely guilty. Yeah. Because if I wouldn't have outed myself, Robert probably would have outed me anyway. But
here's the thing. I don't out friends unless they're dumb. But
I out all my dumb friends. I dunk on them.
Yeah, I dunk on my dumb friends.
Yeah, but I'm
never
guilty.
Yeah, I've never hawked a loogie unless I was like really sick and like clearly my nose is running a fuck ton. Like that, it just kind of makes sense. Like I have all this extra phlegm.
Is hawk-a-loogie like when you like make that like that kind of noise?
See, I don't do that.
Spit?
I don't do that.
That's what I imagine. I think I feel like spitting, just like turning your head and spitting, like happened to me the other day on the sidewalk. Like someone that was walking in front of me did that, and then I had to like quickly get out of the way.
That's just being not conscious of where the fuck you're walking. That's
Wait a
just
second.
rude.
It would have hit you if you didn't move?
I don't know if it would have, but I definitely would have. It was in my path at that point. I would have might have stepped on it.
Yeah, I don't want someone spitting around on the ground right in front of me. That's rude.
That's just kind of gross. I wouldn't do that, but like, yeah, that's just nasty.
But spitting is different from the like. It starts that way. There's a process.
It's a Flemish. You know what it is? It's too much dairy. Is what it is.
And you were saying earlier, Daly, you're just like swallow that shit. If you do that. But real talk though, if you do that all the time, it can make you sick.
I don't want to swallow a loogie. I don't want to swallow that. No.
I knew a girl, funnily enough, in high school who swallowed too much of her phlegm while she was sick, and then had to puke and got even more sick.
Oh, dude,
so definitely do something about your loogie. Probably don't spit it at people.
Don't spit it at people. Just be kind of low key about it. Do it when people aren't, walking towards you or whatever.
Yeah, excuse yourself to the bathroom. Spit it in a tissue.
The new Henry Rollins band, Puke Loogies.
There you go.
Okay, here
so I will say this. So this is a very drama-filled episode, and we're like almost 30 minutes in, and barely even scratched the surface.
Let's do it.
It's very roommate issues.
Yes.
Oh man, we see some sides of some people.
Oh yeah.
So during this discussion in the backyard, they also mentioned that Masao not only keeps the boys up with his snoring, but also keeps the girls up with his bass guitar playing, because apparently the bass reverbs all the way through the house to the room.
He knows that. He knows that. He's a bass player.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a problem as soon as he showed up.
He needs to wear headphones.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it. What's up, Masao? Yeah, maybe he's trying to serenade. Maybe he's trying to woo and impress, because we haven't seen him play yet on the show. Really. Like Eden Kai would play all the time, his guitar.
Eden Kai gets a mention in this episode. It's really fun.
Yes, he does.
And finally, the girls hint at they're worried about Maya. She doesn't make it to school on time a lot, and she usually wakes up pretty late and gets to bed at like 3 a.m.
And doesn't sleep in her bed.
Yep. And that just blows up this episode, and it's kind of crazy.
Is that what happens next? They have
Not
that talk?
quite. No.
Okay.
So we get back inside, and in the kitchen, it's just Io, Risako, and Yui, and Io's kind of like, I noticed Maya doesn't sleep in your room that often. Is that something we should talk about?
Makes it a thing.
Yeah. And Risako says, yeah, us girls should talk about that.
Girl talk.
Girl talk. Let's see. We get back to the kitchen after the intro sequence, and it's Maya, Io, and Kaito. And we kind of get the other side of this Maya conflict a little bit. We start getting hints of it, where they ask, the guys ask Maya, like, hey, what's up with you sleeping in the living room? And she says, I feel like the other two girls are in their own world. And she uses that phrase a lot this episode. It felt very cliquey, like almost high school again.
Yeah,
it's like they're isolating away from her.
She seems excluded. Yeah, like the way she described, like they didn't even say hi to her when she walked in. They just went and said, hey, let's go watch a movie, and just like left her in the room by herself. So she's feeling a little, like you said, pushed out.
Yeah. Masao enters the house again, and he comes back with just a bag full of what I can only describe as snoring equipment.
It works.
Man,
he's got the strips. He's got the mouthpieces.
He prioritized it, guys. He sold me a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
I went on Amazon right now. I was like, I'm buying this right now.
Dude did not fuck around. Dr.
Snore. Here's the thing, though, man. Okay, so I feel a lot of the way that Yama feels, where Wada is like, I feel like he's like my avatar in the house. And so like we have the musical background, like we're similar in age, similar in body type, similar in sensibilities, I'd like to think, similar in snoring now. So like all these other things we have in common. And I really felt it was kind of, oh man, I felt his pain when Maya was just saying, she was just kind of laying into him. She kind of has like no mercy when it comes to him, really. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But man, she was kind of rough on him, like making fun of his snore and stuff. And I don't know, it was hard to see her laugh, because I know how self-conscious he is about it, right? Like I that's why he spent all that money on this stuff. He's trying to fix it. He feels really guilty.
Right, you put yourself in his shoes, where you're like, how would I feel if she was saying these things to me?
Oh, because it's like, don't laugh. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Yeah.
Yep. But guys, let's go to ground zero. Let's go to the girls' room.
Oh man.
Guys, this is an insane scene. I feel like this scene went on forever, like not in a bad way, not necessarily in a good way either.
No.
It was longer than I would expect. And here's the thing, like when I heard the music, it kind of they kind of tilt their hand with the music that they started with, because I was like, oh, this isn't going to end well. It wasn't the kind of music where it ends well and there's a resolution, right? It was the kind of music where like this is going to be a tense exchange. And so the whole time I was like, oh no. Right,
because I thought maybe this would be a heartfelt moment of like, we haven't included you enough, and we don't want you to feel that way, Maya. We love you.
I was hoping
it wind up being like that.
I was hoping
I immediately knew there was war, because before the scene started, I wrote in my note, punches are about to happen.
Ruh-roh.
Damn.
Yeah, Robert's like, punches are about to be thrown. Like, there's going to be some violence.
People are going to get smacked.
We find out that Maya is just like walking in the room, slam the door, like run around. And then when there's like something wrong, it's like, oh, no, it's nothing. She's just like kind of being, it seems like from the behavior described, she's just kind of being immature about things.
Mood swings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time that her behavior has been brought up. There was a scene before where Yui tried to talk to Maya about her behavior, and Maya kept insisting that it was fine, and then it just kind of ended unresolved with Yui saying, yeah, I guess there's nothing to talk about then.
Yeah, but, if you're not in the conversation to like have something resolved, and if you're not willing to bring that up, it's just going to boil over, right? It's just going to end up how it did here, as we see.
Right, exactly. So to like break it down a little bit more, so basically what they were saying was Maya's been having a lot of mood swings. She's been very passive aggressive about certain things. She hasn't been doing chores, and
that's a big one in the house. That's a big one, not pulling your weight.
Exactly, and everyone's just like kind of getting on her because of it, and she like isn't even acknowledging them. And I think that's a big reason why they're avoiding her.
And she called Yui an old lady.
I don't know, an old hag. And I don't know how you can
Baba.
I don't know how you can pull, I mean, man, you got to have a really strong rapport with someone to pull that off as in a joking way.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of harsh.
Because like I can see saying something like, oh, Yui, you cook old-fashioned food and you like sweaters. You're such
an old
grandma.
soul. You're an old soul.
But there's very different terminology there. There's very different terminology, and I don't think it's a translation issue in this instance either. There's a difference between granny and old hag.
Oh yeah.
And at least, like, let's take the little victories. Maya did apologize for not doing chores, right?
Yep.
So there's that. That's probably the only good thing that comes out of this.
They were teasing me. I thought they were going to have a resolution. I was like, oh, this could be good now, and it doesn't end that way.
It was the worst part for me watching it was just seeing like Maya sitting there and being like, oh really, huh?
Yeah.
Oh really, like shocked, but like not shocked. Like she was trying to play that she was shocked, but kind of knew that it's like, no, I know that I've been behaving this way or been doing this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like they Yui does extend an olive branch, right? In a way, she says, I'm worried we're not creating an environment where you feel comfortable sleeping in the room. We don't want to create that. And had different choices been made, that would have been step one to the healing process, right? But instead, Maya kind of doubles down and is like, yeah, I feel like you two live in your own world. You often leave the room when I come in, etc. And a big part of this discussion turned into when Yui said, well, we wanted to leave you because we always thought you wanted to be alone with Kaito. Like, we got that vibe. And Maya said she doesn't like it when people think that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kaito takes the blame a little bit later and says that, I think one of the other girls says that Kaito says that.
It's Maya. Maya says
that.
Yeah,
Maya says that like Kaito thinks he's giving off that vibe.
But this is jumping the gun a bit, but he says that I think in a playful way. I think it was definitely like him flirting with Maya a bit, saying like, well, yeah, I wanted to give them that vibe because I want to be alone with you. Right.
But here's the thing about this. Like, they kind of corner her in the room, right? But they kind of have to. She just got out of the shower. Her hair is all wet. If you look back at the scene, her body language is like, I don't want to engage with you right now. She's like her feet in the corner and her head's like facing the corner. Her hair's down and she's like on her phone. Right. She's like kind of trying to be unapproachable. But it's gotten to the point already where they have to bring it up. And now's the time. Yeah. And it was I could tell from body language, I was like, she does not want to have this conversation.
Yeah. And I can see from her side as well when it's like, if you feel excluded to the point that you're like, I'm not even a part of like this ecosystem, this room. I have to like go and sleep in the playroom and only hang out with the guys. It's like, that can be really hurtful. Yeah. And like hearing even Yui being like, oh, well, sorry about that. We didn't mean it. It can feel kind of backhanded where it's like, you would have done something before if you really felt bad about it.
What I would like to have seen, I wish it happened. Obviously, spoilers, it didn't happen. But I wish that we could have seen maybe some hangouts like one-on-one. Maybe like Risa with Maya and then maybe Yui with Maya, like doing their own thing, kind of bonding on their own. Because I think as long as it's the three of them together, it's going to kind of be like Maya on the outside.
Right. But this moment ends pretty awkwardly, I think. Yes. Risako is kind of like, hey, we don't want to bring you down. Like, we know you have that festival tomorrow. We don't want to be downers. And Maya says, don't worry, I'm not feeling down. I feel fine. And Risako doubles down and it says, I feel like you're pissed off.
Yeah.
That's like second to calm down in an argument. You know what
like
I mean?
Things not to say to set somebody off, right?
Yeah, I feel like you're pissed off.
Yes.
And she says, no, I'm not pissed off at anything. And then she leaves.
She's like, I gotta go dry my hair.
Not a good way to solve an argument like that. At the same time, though, like ever since soon after Maya came into the house initially, even before Risako was there, I think it was before Risako was there that when Yui had that initial talk with Maya about her behavior, I don't think they handled it super well in the girls' room, but at the same time, like they're already having these issues with her behavior and her being like upset and unapproachable, and like Jack said, like that kind of left them with no choice, like in having to approach her about it. But at the same time, like it seems like it's a very consistent thing that Maya just has mood swings and just doesn't come off like she wants anyone to talk to her.
We're just now learning about this episode too. It's kind of out of the blue.
Well, that it was consistently happening ever since Yui talked to her, right? Mm-hmm. And so like it almost made me think that like, and this is totally speculation, that she like might be bipolar or something like that, or have some. Maybe.
I mean, it seemed like
I don't have
Risa
enough
seemed
information to gather that, but
it
just
seemed
based
like
on what they were
Risa
saying.
seemed to be suggesting that with like, you're so up and down and up and down. And down, you know,
Yeah,
I think that might be where that idea's come from.
Yeah, that's where that was coming from for me. Like I said, I have nothing to base that off of. But
Yui, basically, the last thing she said that stuck with me. She said something along the lines of, "I don't think that this conversation ended in a way where we can return to normal tomorrow."
Yep.
Yikes!
And I agree, but somehow they pull it off. Kind of, they somehow do it. Because I guess before we see you tomorrow, right? We cut to the panel, and Yama is giddy.
Yes,
Yama loves it, and I just want to say, I feel like every time we talk about the panel now, I'm pretty much always bringing up Yama because he's the only one worth talking about. Sometimes, like he's kind of the star of the show in a way. But he says something like, "I didn't expect everyone to be a main dish this week."
I'm an emperor. This is my feast.
Yeah, and he says the namesake of the episode, which is probably why they named it Booger Boy and Snoring Boy.
I did really like Torcha, and she was like, why? You're 23. Why are you still doing this? Like,
Yeah, picking your nose. And I really like, let us not forget that Babazono had some choice words too. She was saying how Wada-san is definitely her type. And in the history of Terrace House, he is her favorite boy ever on the show. She's got some doki doki going on for him.
I get it, man. He's great. I mean, she's even like, worthy. I hope he doesn't find love in the house so I can get him.
Yeah. She's not rooting for him.
In a weird way. Mm-hmm. We cut back to the show. We're back at the Bunka Fashion Institute where Maya goes to school. And guys, I have to say, I don't get high fashion.
Dude,
really?
She was legitimately like
does.
Shiva, the priestess of death or something like that. I don't even know like what she was trying to be.
The string of skulls and...
Yep. And well, okay, and I also want to say, and I wrote this in my notes, and I now remember this very vividly. When they show that shot of all 5 of the other house members in the crowd, Kaito's doing this weird dance.
What is he doing? This like dance?
I don't know. Yeah, right. And I wrote in my notes, this is a dance I can only describe as the next evolution of the dab.
It was weird. It was a weird dance. It's like Kaito. He truly is like a Pooh Bear, like 5-year-old kid. Like, what? You sit in your seat and watch the damn fashion show. What are you doing? It was funny though. It was endearing. It's how it's totally him.
Right. And then we see Maya's second outfit, and I can only describe that as like tissue paper. It's like she's a gift, like so she's wrapping a gift, but without the bag. It's weird.
Yeah. I was saying before the show, she looks like a boss from Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Devil May Cry 5, that's a good game.
Amen. I hate those shows too where they're like, oh, don't smile, you're fierce.
Fierce.
Like, yeah, you're gonna go out there and do it. And
that's what high fashion is.
Maybe this is a low-key slight on Maya, but it made me realize that it is hard to walk like a model after seeing the way they were walking. Also, they're wearing this giant apparatus too, so
yeah, I mean, her hands were almost T-pose, like stuck to the sides. You know what I mean?
I thought she might have almost fallen. I don't know. It seemed very comfortable. Very.
She had to get in that one outfit twice. Like, that's effort.
Yeah, that's the worst.
There's a lot of people there too.
But after she was done with the show, she comes back outside, and the rest of the house is like, "Oh, congrats! That was so cool. You were so cute up there. Like, that was great." And Kaito says, "You were the cutest on the stage."
It was so immature, their exchange.
She pushed him. I loved it. Like, stop.
Yeah, he's like, "No, you're the cutest." Like, oh yeah, it was a very middle school kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like watching a high school.
She's like,
drama.
"Gross." She goes, "Gross," and he goes, "You liked it." And she goes, "No, I didn't."
The tsundere is leaking into the real world.
Oh no,
it's really happening. And then we cut to the boys' room, and Kaito and Ayo are. They're like, "Man, after the conversation we heard the girls talk about last night, I'm very surprised at how Risako and Yui handled today. Girls are scary."
Girls are scary.
It was scary.
They explain it kind of later in the panel, but it's like, that's kind of the behavior I was expecting anyway. You try to gloss it over afterward. If you can't get a solid resolution, you're like, well, we're just going to all be very nice to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the words of Tokui, it's like you had a stomach ache and now you've recovered from it. You try to forget that you had the stomach ache.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Yes.
Same.
Mean Girls reference. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the movie once. And Kaito goes on to say that he was talking with Maya about the whole sitch online, and you never really hear the house members talk about it that way. Like, they never talk about how they text each other or talk online or anything, which is cute.
Not too much.
And yeah, and he says that Maya is a little bit depressed about the whole situation. And
She's confiding in him
about it. And one part that I kind of had to rewind and like look at this again to like make sure I read that right is Kaito's actually not on Maya's side. He's supporting her, but he's not on her side of the argument.
Oh yeah, he's very aware. He's like, yeah, it was probably Maya's fault or whatever.
Well, it's hard to be on the side of the person not doing the chores. Point blank, as a roommate.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it's probably hard for her to help out in doing the chores when she's coming home really late from school, and then, well, admittedly, then she's like staying up really late, which she could get to bed sooner.
Yeah, I don't feel like she's going to bed at 3 because of school. Like she's studying.
No.
I feels like she's kind of raging Noah style.
Yeah. That's
but
not a productive lifestyle for.
Yeah, especially as far as she has to travel and stuff too. Yeah, she's burning the candle both ends. It's not going to end well.
But for me, this kind of made me think, Kaito's a good guy. Like, he'll definitely support you all the time, but he's also not going to bullshit you when he thinks you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
He'll tell you to your face
That's
what
good.
it is. Yeah.
Good guy, Kaito.
For sure. We cut to Asabo Juban, which is a district in Tokyo. Azabu Juban, yeah. And Ayo goes to a place called Fit Avenue, which is the most, no offense, kind of douchey name for a gym.
Instead of Fifth Avenue,
It's Fit Avenue.
It's Fit.
Fit Avenue.
It's lit, y'all.
I wonder if you do CrossFit there.
abs.
Do you guys do
But-
CrossFit?
Yeah, he meets with a couple people there. He meets with Tatsuya Furuyama, and I did some research on him, and apparently he's just like one of the most attractive guys in the world, like legitimately, because he was in a Man of the World 2017 men's beauty pageant in the Philippines.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Yeah, they only invite 28 guys to it. He didn't make it into
Damn.
the top 3, but like,
I mean, he was in it.
yeah,
So
I mean, he looked good.
It's like the Hawaiian tropics of dudes.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, I want to be a fitness instructor, and I'm finally taking the first steps. About like 6 episodes later, I'm finally taking the first steps to be a fitness instructor.
Right.
right. That
good
was
for
one of
him.
the other things that Yui talked about with Risako too, is
Right.
that like it hadn't occurred to him at this point that he could get like a part-time job while he's figuring things out.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of nose picking to do, okay? These boogers aren't going to pick themselves.
He's mining for gold up there,
Yes.
you know?
Bitcoin.
Sure.
Yeah. He's Bitcoin mining, yeah.
One
we
Bitcoin's
cut-
worth a lot, guys.
It's true. We cut to the kitchen. It's now Ayo, Risako, Yui, and Maya. And the girls are acting very awkward.
Oh,
It's
it
just
is
Ayo
awkward.
there.
It is awkward. Dude, he did exactly what I was saying. I was screaming at the TV like, get up, leave now,
Leave.
Ayo. Save
Get out.
yourself. And he fucking did. I was laughing so
Yeah,
hard.
and they're like, just like
Ayo
Io,
got quieta.
just like Io disappeared. He's gone.
Yes.
But
he totally did.
before he left, though, I did like this moment. Maya went to grab a popsicle, asked if grabbing a popsicle was okay, and the girls were like, yeah, grab one. And she's like, I hope this doesn't turn into another meat incident.
Yes. Good.
Legendary
good
meat
pull.
incident.
Dude.
Such a good moment.
that-
It's a pull from Boys and Girls in the City.
That is, listen, guys. I've done the thing with the roommates with the food. Like, what is the etiquette there? I mean, obviously, like, you shouldn't just grab something and eat it if it's not yours. But like, you could ask. But like, do you guys split groceries? Like, is it all just like a free for all? Like, food in a house with roommates is a sensitive subject if it's not handled appropriately.
Honestly, like Robin and I have gotten along pretty smoothly. We just split groceries right down the middle and really haven't had a problem.
And you guys just eat half of every. Like, so if there's a 6-pack of
much.
beer, you just drink 3 of them and then leave the other 3.
I mean,
or sometimes it's like, if Colin drinks 4 of a beer, I'll eat more of dinner or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, there's not
It's
really
not a
like,
science.
but it doesn't really need to be either. If it just like sometimes things just happen and they happen, it's not a big deal. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you could find out more about this on our offshoot podcast, Living with Robert and Colin.
2 dudes.
read our blog. Guys.
2 dudes, 1 bathroom. In
Follow
Seattle.
us on Tumblr.
Yeah, there it is. But But yeah, after Io leaves, the girls start talking, and I think this is the healing moment we were all kind of looking for from the earlier interaction. I wouldn't say things are completely smoothed over, but this is definitely a hell of a lot better than how it ended last night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of to the point where they were making jokes with each other. You know,
Finally,
they kind of laughed about Masao. They were like, you know, we thought when the new guy would walk in, he'd be really hot.
Dude.
They were like, wait, were we just rude?
It wasn't just we. It was
That was
Maya.
indirectly rude.
It was Maya.
Maya was laying into him a little
herself.
bit,
She
yeah.
listen, dude. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because this fucking pissed me off. Like, she's like, I thought we were gonna get a hot guy. Can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and the three dudes said, "Oh, I thought we were gonna get a hot girl"? Like, it would be a thing. And it's like this one is just kind of like, oh, poor Masao. And it actually like kind of triggered me a little bit, to be honest with you, when that was happening. So I was in my feels there.
Jack, you're a hot guy.
Thank you.
I think you're a hot guy.
Thank you. My wife does too. She agrees.
We love you, Jack.
Thank you. I was feeling bad for him because like he's snoring. He's got the three girls saying he doesn't live up for the expectations from an attractiveness perspective, but I think personally he's the coolest dude in the house by a fucking mile. I mean, he's famous, like for his talent,
totally.
you know. Like, so I really like that guy, and it just like pained me to see the gossip, like the high school gossip chatter happen, and to think that they're bonding about that. But I honestly place that all on Maya. She's the one that brought that shit up.
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they were kind of just like, oh, that's indirectly rude. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you shouldn't
and
say
it was
that.
like, oh, haha, yeah, you're right.
You're on camera. He's gonna see this.
And the conversation goes on with Maya talking about Kaito, and you know the other two girls are like, "Oh, you guys are pretty much a couple."
Yeah.
And Maya's like, "No, I don't know." And it's like, God, is this high school again? I swear this is high school again.
It's super high school.
Yeah,
Totally.
and the interaction ends with Yui asking, "Hey, so if he asked you, would you be his girlfriend?" And she's like, I wonder." And I'm like, "Fuck you." No one answers that question with, "I wonder."
Yeah.
There's no wondering to it.
No,
Did we get to the part where they were throwing balls in the backyard? Yeah.
that's the next scene.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, you want to take it away?
So let me give Io some tips here, okay?
Some stanky tips.
Good idea. Go throw the baseball around the backyard in the sun with a girl
That's
that you're
cute.
trying to flirt with. Good idea.
Very cute.
Okay. Bad idea. Bring up the fact that you pick your nose. Worse idea. Make sure you illustrate in detail the odor of those boogers that she hates that you pick. He's
Stank.
like, hey, Yui, guess what? He might as well say, guess what? I picked my nose and those boogers were really stinky. It's
God.
like, and she's like, keep that to yourself. I can't remember what she said, but I was
She
just
just
like,
tells
what?
him,
Why would you
"Stop,
bring that
don't
up?
Don't pick your nose." Is what she says.
Yeah,
But
you should stop
she
doing
first
it.
says, like, why should I care?
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, dude, what? Is he trying to sabotage himself, or is this like how he flirts? Some guys
Dude,
flirt
dude.
like that.
Here's exactly what
It's
it is.
fucked up.
He caught wind that Yui doesn't like that about him.
He did get that vibe, so he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, so it's his way of distancing himself.
I wouldn't even. I don't know if I would say that, but he was giving her shit for saying that behind his back.
You think that's what it was? You think he was trying to take it in?
That's exactly what it was.
Really?
He's because he's like, yeah, guess what? I picked my nose, fully knowing that Yui doesn't like him picking his nose.
How does he? No,
See-
I didn't. How do we know that he knows that? All
He heard
knows
it through
that
the grapevine. He heard it
What?
through the
I don't remember that
grapevine.
part. All I just remember was that he said that he doesn't think she likes him as a boyfriend. That's all I thought he knew. Did I miss something?
Well, I think that's the only way he could have known to say that. You know what I mean? Like he had to have heard it.
Go ahead, Dale.
I'm thinking it's more like he just literally, like, the main thing that he has said about Yui that he likes so much, other than, you know, her very mom-like qualities that make her very appealing as a wife, I guess, is that he's really comfortable with her. And maybe this is like him just being totally oblivious and being like, I'm just so comfortable with Yui. We can talk about anything,
My stinky
including
boogers.
my stinky boogers.
My stinky boogers.
Nah, I'm still leaning on my theory. I don't think he would just tell a girl that he picks his nose and it was smelly just to tell her that.
I don't know.
Doesn't make
We
any sense.
We wouldn't think that he'd come on to Terrace House and be caught in front of camera picking his nose either, but he is. Like, he seems somewhat oblivious. I don't know. He seems somewhat
oblivious.
like what's the word? He puts it all out there, right? I cheated on my girlfriend. I don't have a job. I was a 4th-string guy. Never played. Like he's not really trying to like build himself up. He's like very.
So are you saying he wears his boogers on his sleeve?
Oh, fucking gross.
Fucker. You fucker.
That's the end of the podcast, guys.
That's
Thanks
the
for
end
listening.
of the show. Bye
No,
now. That was it. It was a good run, guys.
Here's what happened. So the girls just started making girl talk again because they're all friends with Maya. This is my theory. And then Yui, it was brought up when the girls were talking, and then Maya said something to Kaito about it online. Kaito said something to Ayo, and now Ayo's like, yeah, I'm going to give Yui shit for it.
I mean, I get your logic because you want to think that Ayo has that much couth. I just don't know if I buy that fact. You know, you gotta leap.
That's the only way it makes sense.
You got to make the logic leap. And I don't know
only way.
I don't know if I can go there with you, Colin, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's just like someone said behind your back, oh, like I don't like the way Jack smells, and then someone says that behind your back, somebody else catches wind, and then you hear it back, and then it's like you going up to someone and be like, so I heard you don't like the way I smell.
Dude, I don't need the analogy. I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
Like, I get it.
Can I just say
don't think that's what's happening.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure on record, either on this podcast or a previous one, we have Colin on record saying he thinks Jack smells good.
Oh, I do. 100%.
So that's just a weird. I'm just saying that's a weird example.
I forgot about that till just now, but
whoever says Jack doesn't smell good is wrong.
Yeah, and
just objectively.
Secondly, here's the thing, guys. Colin, and I think everyone else here is ignoring the fact that what if Ayo just reports on his boogers every day to everyone, and this is the first time we're seeing it.
It's like he's a blogger. He's a booger blogger.
A booger journal.
Blogger. No.
He's a booger blogger.
He puts boogers in there.
He's Instagram famous for his boogs.
Could you imagine if you're just sitting around in the kitchen, just chilling out, and he just picks his nose, looks at the boogers like, day 65? Oh, crusty.
Dude, it's the internet.
I'm
Someone's
sick.
doing this. This exists.
We have to put a trigger warning on this episode, guys.
I mean, there's a lot of bodily fluid functions and discussion on this episode. That's for sure. But man, I'm just saying that might be the stupidest thing I've ever heard a guy say to a girl on this show. What he did while they were playing catch. I mean, there's an opportunity for glasses. I thought was the real humdinger this season, but this is definitely in the running for the worst thing anyone could say to a girl, especially if he's trying to date her.
I'm still leaning toward glasses is the worst way, because at least
it's close for me.
The way I see it is the glasses was like Soda's endgame. That was his last ditch effort. At least with Ayo, it's like he already went on a date, and this is just kind of like him trying to keep rapport, and all he can talk about is stanky boogers.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know. Listen,
it is.
I didn't even know that boogers could have a scent to them. This is the first I've ever heard of this.
Let's get into that. Let's dig deeper.
No, let's not. Let's not dig into anything.
Let's dig further
other than
up
the
the
episode. Guys.
All right, moving on.
We cut to cooking naturally.
Yes.
Cooking with boogers. No, okay.
Damn good food.
Finally, something that's not about bodily fluids.
Or so we think.
We're in the kitchen. Masao and Yui are cooking together, and Masao, like, he's nervous. He's never cooked with a girl before. It's kind of cute.
Kind of crazy at his age.
He's like, doki doki suru.
Yeah.
And we found out he had 6 girlfriends before. He's never cooked with a woman before. It's interesting. Right. It's a good
and he's
bonding
definitely a
thing.
chaser.
It's a good thing to do with couples to cook together.
Yeah. Although there is that one time where he tells that story about there was that one girl in high school where he asked a girl out over and over and over and over again until she said yes. And I was like, yikes.
Talk about wearing her down. Yeah, dude. Like,
Not
dang,
great.
that's not the way you want that to happen. By the way, bad advice for those guys out there looking to enter the dating scene. Like, don't just annoy someone until you wear them down and they just say yes, not because they want to, but because they just want you to leave them alone. That's a very
pop culture, like 80s movie, romance movie mindset of like, you just keep chasing the girl until she wears down and she says yes. That's like, no, that's not how it works.
Girls aren't Pokemon. You don't weaken them until you can catch them.
Yeah, she fainted. Grab her, stick her in the ball. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, guys.
Well, it doesn't work that way, Jack. You don't faint the Pokemon before you catch them, idiot. Dummy.
Yeah, you You nerd.
Go play Kingdom
You
Hearts 3, you
dingus.
weeb.
So Risako and Io gather into the dining room with the other two, and they all have a lovely dinner together. And apparently
yeah.
this has been spearheaded mostly by Chef Masao. And Risako is just like, oh my god, this is so good. Why is this so good? This is so delicious. This is the best meal ever. This is my favorite.
It looked like Studio Ghibli food. It looked awesome.
It did look good.
It did look really good.
Diner style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
And I know
props.
just
They all make fun of how Risako says everything is her ichibanski. Everything's her favorite.
Right. But the eggplant especially.
The eggplant is her most favorite, but everything else is also her favorite.
Yo.
And then Masao begins a couple stories, a couple anecdotes. My favorite being how in school he made curry his weapon. He made his cooking the skill that impressed the ladies.
Well, man, it works, and he was also laying it on thick with Risa as well too. He's like, "You're beautiful."
Yeah, he just
didn't,
out of
man.
nowhere. You're very beautiful.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing. He got his foot in the door with the food. She's got the endorphins going. So much is being communicated like non-verbally here when she's eating the food. And then he goes in for the close. Like, I think you're beautiful. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know, man. It was kind of smooth. It's blunt. I don't know if I would have done it, but it seemed like he had some experience.
That's the way you got to do it. You got to open the door with the eggplant and then slam the door closed with the "you're beautiful."
You're beautiful over and over. And then he's like, you were in my house.
Oh yeah, that was weird. So I thought maybe he had like a party like for his band or something
That's
like
what we
that.
were thinking.
And yeah, and maybe like she didn't even realize that it was him. I don't know, but what happens?
He leaves the room and comes back with a corset, and she is on the front of the packaging for the six-pack corset. The six-pack
It's a six-pack
corset.
corset. So is it meant to look like you have a six-pack, or is it just supposed to suck you in? Because it seems like the latter.
Supposed to suck your belly in.
See, I was reading it as like it's one of those like faulty like train your abs
Oh,
That's what I
to
thought.
just
I thought it was
suck
kind
it
of.
in.
I thought it was kind of like Spanx for dudes, but Risa was wearing it on the front.
There's a much better way to go about that, but
Yeah, okay, I'll be honest. I was a little creeped out with the way he phrased it, though. He was like, "You've been to my house before," whatever. It was like, this is weird.
Yeah, it was super.
But-
It was kind of creeper. Yeah.
my mind did go to like magazine because she's a magazine model.
Sure.
So I was like, that could be kind of creepy if it's like I have the picture of you from this magazine cut out and framed in my house.
Yeah, I have a shrine. Yeah, I have a hair doll.
But I
But
thought the payoff was great.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
he's
was
a pretty
great.
master class at this. He turns it around and he turns it into this fun moment where he tries to put on the corset in front of everyone, gets Risako to help him put on the corset.
There is physical contact there to his
Yeah,
belly,
it was
I
just-
should say.
It was like, wow, this is good job, Masao. You know, this is pretty good.
And then they're like, it's going to explode when he sits down. And then he sits down and then it makes this like noise. But
Yeah.
it stayed intact, though. Kudos.
like he's definitely that guy who at a party I could see him wearing a Hawaiian shirt and everyone calls him the party animal.
Yes.
On
And
the
he's
face.
just deadpan the whole time.
Yeah. And he ends this moment in front of Io and whoever else is in the house, Ryui. In front of both of them, he's just like, when are you free? Let's go out, Risako.
Dude, going in for the kill.
He's going in. And they make plans for, I think, like 2 days after that dinner. And Masao was like, yeah, let's get lunch and then tea time.
Tea
time.
That was cute. It was
time.
cute. He meant it as like a joke, and everyone laughed when they said, "Oh, tea time." Okay. I thought it was good, man, because it's like those are the good dates, not the ones where you do one thing, it's defined, and then when that one thing's over, it's kind of ambiguous. I mean, unless it's going well, then you know, cop to some bar or something else like that. But when there's like two things that you're gonna do, you kind of know you have that time allocated to bonding and hanging out. I don't know. It seemed to just be, again, like you said, like a master class, like well done. So I have like hopes for him because he's my avatar in the house and I want him to succeed, but I don't want to end on a downer. But it's like, what's her number one rule? That someone's taller than her, right?
Oh, no,
And
is he not? I
don't-
thought he was pretty tall.
I don't know. I didn't get that vibe. I have not seen them though side by side, so I don't know for sure. But I kept panicking, like, oh man, like they're gonna go out, but I don't see her being into him like that. But I hope I'm wrong. Trust me, if anyone, I hope I'm wrong on this. So I just don't know. if she's feeling it that way, or she just like really likes him as a friend.
I mean, here's the thing. This episode, to me, and along with like the past 4, honestly, have just... I kind of hate this idea of expecting anything out of Terrace House for the rest of the season, because every time I create a new expectation in my mind, the next episode is just like, oh, yeah, I don't like Io that way. He picks his nose, so we're not going to date. And Io, like, oh, Risako, I've gone on gym dates with her. Yeah, I'm not into her, though. I don't like the way she talks, so I'm going to go for you. You know what I mean? It's just like every episode, these people are changing, and that's fine, right? Because they're all looking for their last love or whatever the fuck.
It definitely zigzags. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows? Fucking next episode, right? Jack could be right, where Risako, like, goes on that date with Masao. They both are, like, really fun, really happy. This is great. And then Risako talks to Maya and Yui and is like, yeah, but he's short.
Oh, the pain. Just thinking about it hurts me. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't want to expect anything anymore.
You're right. Good
That's
point.
fair.
The show is
That's
very
fair.
unpredictable.
No
It's true.
expectations.
No.
Well,
I just hope they
there
have a good
was-
time. I mean, she seemed to be, falling a little bit for his charms in some capacity, I think.
I mean,
at
who
the table.
wouldn't?
He's so charming.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, there was the scene where Risako was putting the corset on him. Weren't they standing next to each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was like
we could go back and
but
check.
it wasn't like I don't think you could see like their heads. It was like his shoulders down, like to show the corset, if I remember correctly. I might have to go back and watch now though.
Yeah, we need to rewind the tape, coach.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's like when you have the tape of the 7-Eleven door and the security camera, so when someone walks in, you can tell. When someone robs it, you can say how tall they were. We need one of those in Terrace House.
Same. We cut to the panel for the last time in this episode, and Yama, funnily enough, he's like Jack, where he's saying, Masao is my avatar.
Yes.
He's like me in the house. Until he said he had 6 girlfriends, then I was like, nope, that's not
He
me.
was embarrassed. He was embarrassed by that.
The avatar has surpassed the original.
Is that a bad thing that you dated a lot? I guess.
I think it's more a joke on Yama.
Got it.
He hasn't.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was like, oh no, I've like not had that many girlfriends, or oh no, I've had more than that many girlfriends.
Yeah,
that's true.
Good point.
Yeah. And we end this episode, we're finally at the end, in the boys' room with Io and Masao. And dude, Masao, I'm telling you, man, he's weird, and I love it.
Oh man,
She's so
so-
pretty.
dude, he was
Her
going
lips look so
in.
soft.
Yeah, he's so
I
plump.
love her voice.
Her lips are so plump, I want to kiss them.
He's
They're
like, I've
probably
fallen-
soft. I
I've
bet they're
fallen-
really soft.
I've fallen for her already.
hair.
Yeah, everything. It sounds like Romeo talking about Juliet.
It's like, dude, do you have a filter at all? Guess not. No. Okay.
He
does,
wears it
'cause he
on
didn't-
his sleeve, dude.
He didn't say this downstairs, at least. So he has some
true.
filter.
That's true. At least he saved it for the boys' room,
Man,
but he just
re-
let all that stuff roll out.
he
and I was
reminds
just
me-
like, okay, dude.
he reminds me of Taichi. Like he's there for a singular purpose. He's got his mindset on a goal. He's there for love. He's there for romance. He's there for a wife. He's there for
Same.
a long-term relationship, and so he's not wasting any time. He took care of the snoring thing right away. Where you at, Io? When you gonna handle your boogers, dude? We don't know. Is it next episode? But Masao's doing his thing to help the house. And we should say that ever since he did buy that stuff, the guys did end up sleeping much better now. So
So
good
he
for
succeeded.
him. Good for him.
Yeah. And this episode ends on a weird note where Io is like, man, all this talk about you going on a date makes me want to go on a date. And I'm like, okay, but with who?
Yeah, good question.
Like at this point, I mean,
Yeah.
there was a
Yui's
moment
the
we
only option.
thought that he and Maya were going to be a thing. Probably not now. And then the whole him and Yui clearly isn't going to happen because Yui's just like, but boogers.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna try to plow his way through that barrier that
His nostril.
yeah, that is his nostril. Jeez. I feel like he's still going to go after Yui because he kind of has to if he's going to go after anyone at this point. I don't want that to be his lone reason.
He's got the jobs. He's got the certifications coming. Okay, all he has to do is not pick his nose, and he's
Seriously.
viable again for Yui, and stop talking about it and loogieing. Like he just needs to. She needs to see some effort. Like that was evident with her lists. She keeps an eye on like the unspoken things that she keeps an eye on people's actions and their trajectory. Not so much like their words and what they're doing at the moment, but she like wants to know that he's trying. Just like that Jim wants to know that he's putting in the effort too. to study and get those certifications. So kind of the ball's in his court, right? What does he decide to do next will determine whether or not Yui would date him. So I don't want to write that off just yet. I think it's too soon.
I think that I think it's between Io and Maya are going to be the ones to leave the house next, if anyone else leaves.
Maya, I could see that. Depends with what's going on with Kaito.
We're already talking about people who are leaving.
But there's no way. Can anyone leave? Because there's only a few episodes left. 5, 6
They can leave
episodes.
whenever the hell they want, dude.
I know they can, but would they?
They got 5 episodes away.
They gotta know that, right? The people in the house know, like, they're gonna have to move in like a number of months, right? They tell them plenty in advance, I would assume. When the show ends.
I'm really curious if this is going to be our ending lineup through the end here.
I don't know.
I hope it is.
I hope so.
I hope it
so
is.
too.
I don't want to meet anyone new.
Honestly, like, if someone leaves, I hope it's sooner rather than later, because that way we can at least get to know. Yeah, it needs. If anyone's going to leave, if everyone's still there, then the next episode, then I hope everyone stays for the rest of the time. But if I were to predict someone, I definitely think Maya is kind of high candidate for that.
So I don't want anyone to leave because I feel like rarely in Terrace House do we get to watch people fully struggle. And that sounds kind of shitty coming from a person like, I want to watch people struggle.
Right.
But it's like when we found out Yudai was a piece of shit and everyone gave up on him, he just left. And that's fine. I get it. You don't want to go through the ridicule, and probably everyone doesn't like you in the house anymore. But I find it interesting to think what would happen if he had stayed. Like, would we see him grow better?
Right. I want to see a complete arc. Yeah.
Right. And in this way, I want to see, like, can we get through episode 49 and like have an Io nose cam in the corner where, like, at all times throughout the episode we get to see Io's nose, and we get to see if he ever puts his finger in it.
Just
like a full circle,
Yeah.
full nostril.
Yes.
Really?
Closer to the mic.
Really?
That's how we end the show, guys. That's it. Bring it home.
I mean, I'm serious about it, but also the nostril cam would be really great.
I'm not voting for that. I don't want that.
So much bodily fluid thrown around in this episode, man.
I don't like that verbiage.
Let's see.
Don't throw around
Let's see if
fluid.
anything else gets slung around next episode.
Let's wrap this fluidy episode up.
Fluidity, a new verb.
You adjective, thank you.
Stop.
Adjective.
Jeez.
Fluidity.
So yeah, you can check us out on Facebook at Tadaima Clan if you want, or if you want to comment down below on YouTube, feel free. But I'm just curious about you guys. What do you think? Would you be put off by a guy who hawks loogies and picks his nose? Is that a turn off for you? Is that an immediate no? Or would you tolerate it for the guy? Let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we have a little contest that we're running. Colin, if you want to take that away.
Yeah, guys. So we're running another contest for this how would you say group of spoiler casts. So basically we're basically streamlining it this time. So all you have to do is go on iTunes, drop us a review, and just send us that review. Make sure we know who you are, and that's pretty much it. And then we'll let you know when the contest gets closer to coming to an end. But then we will have more information about what you win here very soon.
It's going to be a sweet prize. We haven't decided what it is, how sweet it's going to be yet, but it's going to be awesome, promise. So if you already left an iTunes review on our last contest, you're already entered into this one. So don't fret there.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. But yeah, but we will let you know if we end up picking you as the winner.
So go to iTunes, leave us a review. We need those 5 stars. Do it.
Yeah. And don't forget to DM us your name on iTunes, because it's really hard to figure out who's who sometimes. If you have any questions, comments, theories, anything you think we missed in this fluid-filled episode that you wanted to talk about,
Daly's about to quit the show, guys.
email any and all of those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Catch us this Friday with another spoiler cast of a week 44. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu!
Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at TadaimaGram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast. Guys, let's all haka-loog right now.
No, I can't even.
I'm signing off. I'm gone.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Daily. We'll miss you
Bye.
forever.
Bye.
Cut.